Audrey Cunningham, another little girl whose life ended far too soon. This one, the 11-year-old girl in Livingston, found dead in the Trinity River, literally roped to a rock, a large rock that sunk with her on it. Don Steven McDougal, the man charged with the murder, the man that grandma, grandpa, and even dad said, hey, this seems like a nice man to let on the property. It seems like the Christian thing to do. Oh, he has all the Nazi tattoos all over him and the Aryan race stuff. And if we just did a simple Google search, we'd learn he's a really horrible human being. Yeah, that guy. Well, Grandma and Grandpa are now speaking and talking about the case itself. And very quickly, I'm finding interesting, trying to push some legislation to prevent people from having to go through this again, which is fairly easy to do. Don't bring the Nazi onto your property. You don't need a website to tell you that. But they want to shift blame. Jennifer Coffindaffer, retired FBI special agent, joining me to discuss. And Jennifer, I want to start by playing this clip. I have three of them from a local television station that sits down and talks with Grandma and Grandpa. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I want to get your raw reaction to this because I know it's the first time you've seen it. Let's take a listen and a watch.
You were aware of his history, and you were going to give him a second chance, like a lot of people were passing over on him, and you went a step further and you checked that registry. Did you feel that that gave you peace of mind and that you did your due diligence before letting somebody stay here?
I did.
That was our largest concern, because I think people have come to depend on the registry you look on it, and unfortunately that is part of our society. And some of it is earned. Some of them are truly needed to be on the registry. Some of them were they got caught up in the moment and they wound up on the registry. So there is gray areas in the registry, but then there's a big dark hole where people who committed a sexual assault wound up plea bargaining down to a misdemeanor, and because it's only a misdemeanor, they didn't have to register. That's the hole that we want to work on closing.
There's a lot to unpack there. If you're listening to it, they're sitting there at their outdoor patio table with T-shirts that they have made up with Audrey Cunningham on them, with wings, and then there's almost a whole set behind them with more pictures of Audrey everywhere. That's the setting, and then obviously there's a part where he's sticking up for sex offenders. Thoughts thus far?
Oh, gosh. Well, that was the first. I just wrote it down in my notes. Caught up in the moment.
Caught up in the moment.
The sex offender was just caught up in the moment, and maybe they don't even deserve to be there. This should be on their T-shirts. Caught up in the moment. This tells me exactly their mindset.
Yeah.
Exactly the reason they overlooked probably multiple warning signs. Exactly why they even thought they needed to go look at a sex registry, which I still don't even know if I'm buying that tale, that they even did it. Because clearly they don't see it as a big deal in some instances. And now they're coming forward in this baloney. There's got to be a GoFundMe attached to this thing. Where we want to close the loop between the people who get pled down minors. Well, were they part of the people caught up in the moment, Tony? This just infuriates me because if the caregivers who are there to protect the children aren't protecting the children, this is just going to keep happening over and over.
Well, number one, the timing of it seems insane. I mean, your granddaughter literally, I know they just had the funeral the other day. I think they gave this interview around that same time or right before. I'm going to say she wasn't even in the ground yet when they gave this interview, and they're talking all about, and we'll get to the next piece here in a moment, legislation about trying to close that loophole. It's not about closing a loophole. It's about you guys taking some accountability here. I don't believe you wanted your granddaughter to be murdered, but guess whose fault it is that this happened? You. It's your own stupidity and naivete that allowed this to occur on your property, but they don't seem to want to, in any way, shape, or form, take any responsibility for it. It's all about the system. Because his name wasn't on a website somewhere, this is what happens. I just don't buy it.
I don't either, Tony. I don't buy it. Just watching them you know, no,
Yeah.
I don't buy it. I think they're trying to definitely divert away from them the accountability that exists squarely on them for this man being on their property and for the rape and death of their granddaughter.
Yeah. Hey, it's Tony Brueski. If you like the podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, and press that bell so you don't miss any of our updates on the cases we're following for you right here at the Hidden Killers podcast from True Crime Today. And thanks